Uno. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Jonathan.
Good afternoon, Jonathan.
Okay, gentlemen, today in this meeting, we're going to talk about parts to consider when starting a business meeting. It's important to mention that this is the agenda for our presentation. So first, we're going to talk we're going to do a little presentation of this thing, and we're going to take the attendance of the participant, right? Then we are going to do an icebreaker led by our moderator, Daniel, in order to create a better atmosphere for the meeting. Then we have started stating the purpose. This is why we are creating in this meeting. Then we have our final outcome. So basically here, we are going to hear what is our final goal at the end of the meeting. Then we have time limits and procedure of this meeting in order to make it more efficient. And as a penultimate point of our agenda, which is development of this meeting, I know that it is almost at the end of the presentation, but here we can say that it will be the main part of the meeting. So we're going to spend most of our time here. And finally, we have our conclusion. This is going to be a summary about the main conclusion of this meeting.
Perfect.
Okay. So here, our members, which are conformed by 5 people: Daniel Arevalo, Andres Nieves, Einer Rodriguez, and Lionel Messi. So gentlemen, I'm going to take the attendance of this meeting. So you can say here or I'm here, whatever. Okay, let's get started. Daniel Arevalo, moderator.
Present.
Okay. Me, I am in charge of the attendance of this meeting. Then we have Andres Nieves, our notes manager.
I'm here.
Okay. And we have 2 guests, Einer Rodriguez. Are you here, Einer? No, apparently he has not arrived yet. And in regards to Lionel Messi, for work reasons, couldn't attend this meeting. So our notes manager will be in charge to send him our main notes, right? So he will be aware about what we will do here today. We can start with our meeting because Einer will be with us in a few minutes. So let's welcome our moderator, Daniel Arevalo. Welcome, Daniel.
Hello, everyone. And thanks, Jonathan, for the introduction. Well, gentlemen, it's time to start the meeting. It's a pleasure to have you here gathered to talk business. How's your week going so far? Tell me.
Well, Daniel, working hard, but all very well.
Well, Mr. Daniel, I'm very well. Thanks for asking. Working on new business project. And I'm glad that everyone here is very well too.
That's great. That's great. I'm happy to. I'm happy to know that everyone is doing well, focused and with spirits for this day. I see that Einer has joined us. How about you?
Sorry, guys, for being late. It hasn't been my best week. I've been really busy with a lot of work, but better days will come. I hope so. In the same way, I focus on this meeting. I hope will be short and productive. Andres, how was your presentation last week?
Well, Einer, it was great. The teacher congratulated us and said that we have improved a lot.
Feel you, Einer. I feel you. There is always a time of the month when I deal with paperwork and different things that we have to do with work, you know. But that is normal. All the effort we will be worth in it one day. So, without further ado, let's get started with the meeting. It is important to keep in mind to respect the intervention of each person in order to have a pleasant conversation and to be able to specify our objective. So let's start. Uh, Ideally, we can cover everything in 20 minutes. Does it sound reasonable?
Yes,
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 Daniel,
Yes,
for
Daniel,
sure.
yes, for
for
sure.
sure.
Okay, well, colleges and partners, first of all, it is extremely important to be clear about the purpose of this meeting, right? So,
Yes.
therefore, in this conversation, we will address issues related to business meetings and what kind of factors influence when having this type of meeting. Uh, Also, through this meeting, we will be able to analyze and identify the objectives and purposes of this meeting. And we will also be able to know what mistakes not to make and how to avoid them through effectiveness and order at the time of intervening. So we will focus on being clear about the objective of the business meeting. On this side, it is important to know that at the time of holding a meeting, it is to create a discussion, preferably healthy, which
Yes.
depends on the way you behave during the meeting and how you handle it. So we have create discussion, resolve misunderstandings, and find solutions to problems that people will not be able to solve individually. And in this way, the interesting thing about teamwork will be seen in which everyone does their parts and thus be able to benefit.
Okay, Daniel.
Well, it seems to be, to me, a very interesting and beneficial topic for each of us. Therefore, certain aspects must be taken into account when managing this meeting, taking into account each of the ideas raised by the different participants. At the end of our conversation, we must be clear about how to intervene, have an order, and be able to clearly know the information raised by each one about the parties to consider in a business meeting.
Okay.
Perfect.
So, setting a time is an excellent strategy because in this way you can focus on yourself and focus on the group or person who you are talking to. They will come predisposed over the time, and in this way the meeting will be much more organized and well prepared. People will not have to complain because you were all the time going around in circles, talking and discussing the same thing about reaching a conclusion. Setting a time limit is the best way to achieve something concrete during the meeting. So we're going to do an approximate of 2 minutes per person intervening. So who wants to start?
Well, I would like to start, partners.
Okay.
Well, I would like to talk about those aspects that are fundamental when conducting a business meeting now, which are have meetings of a maximum of 2 hours and have the camera on during the meeting. Well, it is important to have meetings of a maximum of 2 hours because participants tend to get bored or distracted if meeting is long enough. So it is recommended to hold meetings between 1 to 2 hours. And on the other hand, it is essential that all participants have their camera on during the meeting, because basically in this way the body expressions of each participant can be identified, and at the same time an atmosphere of comfort and trust is generated.
That's true, Andres. Today, meetings in the business are shorter every day. So it's necessary to be clear and always go to the point, no distractions. While it is also important to meet other people like colleagues or customer. That that's part of the business is building trust in people, helping and getting help from people, persuading people to do things. Jonathan,
Yes.
could you tell us could, could you tell us what you found out about meeting business?
Well, Einer, of course. Well, I would like to add two important points, which are try the technology ahead of the time, and to highlight the fact that meetings have to last a maximum of 2 hours because they get boring. So regarding the first point, I want to say that many people make the mistake of trusting themselves and do not attach the electronic things that they are going to use during the meeting. Then if any device if fail, they waste those people's valuable time, which should then be the right things to do, right? And regarding the other, it is important to know that meeting that last more than 2 hours become boring and people lose interest and can be distracted by anything. So in this way, it is important to hold efficient meetings so that time is used as best as possible. For example, having agendas, assign roles, etc.
Yeah, Jonathan, I agree with you. These two aspects are fundamental for business meetings, as they help the meeting not to become boring, and neither does it waste time, no? Well, maybe do you have something to add, Einar? Or
Yeah, of course. I
okay.
researched how to make good and productive business meeting and found that having clear target and setting an agenda allow the meeting flow better. For the participants to be focused on what they are going to say um, and know out the place. And one recommendation is that the agenda should be sent days early for participants to research and come with a solid curious ideas. Also assign roles like who is the moderator or who takes notes. It's very important so that the participant don't get interrupted when others speaks. Basically it shows who leads the conversation and establish the point to talk about. Uh, who does feedback and someone who can talk. Um, Daniel, what about you?
Well, it is clear that work groups within a company are a fundamental piece. Therefore, the way that they can interact and feel more comfortable is to break the ice. Uh, seems to me this seems to me an extremely important factor when starting a conversation or a business meeting, because this is the way that people can feel more open and thus participate in the meeting when intervening without feeling opaque or disrespectful.
That's true. You should break the ice to make the meeting more comfortable.
Well, gentlemen, finally, in this meeting, we can conclude that the following aspects should be taken into account. Well, try the technology ahead of time. Long meetings are not as effective. attendees tend to be easily distracted. Whole meetings of up to 2 hours, turn on the camera, have the objectives and agenda established, assign roles, and finally, use icebreakers. Well, taking these aspects into account is essential since they allow you to manage a business meeting in the best possible way. So keep this in mind for future meetings.
Well, okay, gentlemen. It was a pleasure for me to be able to share this time with you. It was to my linking to be able to listen to your ideas and contributions towards our topic to be discussed. I feel that we all did our part and we were able to complement each other to be able to specify the objective of this conversation. I like the order and the respect that was handled during the meeting. I hope this intervention has been for the benefit of each one of us, and I hope to coincide with you again in a future meeting. Goodbye. Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mr.
Daniel.
Daniel.
Bye, Daniel. My pleasure.
Bye bye,
Bye bye.
guys.
Bye-bye.